Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is oyinbo. I'm a nurse, I'm a vlogger, and I'm an entrepreneur. If any of my content interests you, I will leave some of them in the description box. Be sure to please subscribe to my channel. And are you an existing subscriber? Thank you so much for stopping by again. So today is just some random pillow talk around having two kids under 2 years. What do I think? What do you think? Let's get into it. As today's topic entails, as you must have seen on the thumbnail, I am trying to make sure that I do as little editing as possible. You will hear my little one at the background, but I just feel like they're my watermark. I can't do anything about that, but please and please bear with me. Right, so moving forward, I just want to discuss about having two kids under 2 years. Is it really worth it? Like, is it how is it like? Because I, as a personal example, I realized I was pregnant with my second baby when my first one was 9 months old, and it wasn't planned. Well, we didn't have any sort of contraceptive or anything in place, so we should have expected that anyway. And the way my body works, well, I think my menses came back when my first son was just barely 3 months ish. So I should have known that something like that would happen, but for whatever reason I just wasn't keen on contraceptives or whatever the case was with me then. And anyway, to cut it all short, at month 9 I was pregnant, and that must have been sometimes in August, but I didn't know until September, if I'm right with the timing now, because today is 2 years old and his sister will be 6 months old in the next 9 days ish. Yes, 9 days. So to tell you the calculation right there. So speaking of the pros, we'll go with the pros first, then we run into the cons. And if you have anything more to share with me, please be sure to drop it in the description, in the comment section for me, for us to rub minds. So speaking of the first advantage I can think of that many people talk about oftentimes is the fact that, well, God keep them all for us. By the time they grow up, you then begin to reap all of the stress that you've put into it. Like, they'll grow up together, you can plan their say school together, you can plan things together. And for me, as an example, some things that I used for Timmy, that's my first son, I was able to keep them for Gabrielle, my daughter. And things like, say, clothing, is pram, is what's it called, rocker, a few things that came really handy, that I didn't think would be useful very soon. I was able to reuse them for Gabrielle, and I'm so glad, because I didn't have to buy as much, because I didn't have to store it for so long. They were just right at my reach, and I brought them all out for use. So that's one of the advantages I can think of, or advantages that I can think of. So you'd see that I've mentioned like 2 to 3 things in one. Like, I mentioned the schooling part, I mentioned the reusing of things from the first child to the second child, because they will still be at your reach and you can just refer to them. I've also mentioned enjoying them. In fact, that's the third thing, enjoying them when they grow up. That's when you then reap all of the trouble, if you get what I mean. So another thing right there, just like my husband just reminded me right there, is that because there isn't that much gap between them both, they would learn together, they'll grow together, they'll make mistakes together, and then growing up they'll bond more. It is not to mean that children that have got a higher or more age difference between them don't bond, but if you get what I mean, in terms of because of the closeness in age, they can relate to each other more. So what else can I think of right there? So I've mentioned 4 things altogether as the pros. And speaking of the cons, oh my god, seriously, it's even as I'm talking to you, they're in my ears and they're just doing my head, and I just feel like I just need a break sometimes. When you feel like, oh my god, can somebody just have these children for me for just 2 hours, and that 2 hours I want to use it to sleep. Like, I want to use it to think of nothing but myself. Oh, it hardly happens, to be honest. It hardly happens. And I've gotten so used to the stress that when I get somebody to hold them for me, I feel like I should be doing something. When you feel like you should be doing something, because I've just been so used to doing something, and it may be easier for you. You see, like I said, or like I often say every time, for those that know me, one rule doesn't cut it all. So it may be easier for you if you have family or friends around, or you keep applying for your mom or your mother-in-law to come take care of your children for you. Oh, lucky you, you won't have an idea the slightest of what I'm talking about. But for someone like me that I applied for my mom's visa, and it took a while before it got granted, and it got granted eventually because she's still at work. She had to go back early, and you know, altogether I didn't have as much as I wish I could have around, you know, and COVID happened, so my mother-in-law couldn't come in, and right now it's just been like, out of the old 2 years, I'm counting with Timi, you know, being 2 today, I've had help, like full help from a family, like from my own family, for just 2 months. And you just be like, oh my god. And in between it all was when I got pregnant with Gabriel, and I just wasn't enjoying myself. And you know, just to cut it all short, it is very stressful for you if you won't be getting help. So yes, it is enjoyable towards the end, around say when they grow up, la la la, but at this point in time it is stressful. Number one, I can't leave them together at the same time. Say I just want to go there for a second, you'd find Timmy doing something to his sister already. You know, I can't. Sometimes when Gabriel wants to sleep and Timmy wants to sleep at the same time, especially their nap time, you just want to go gaga, like seriously. And for that reason, I try to not make them sleep together, because when they try to sleep at the same time, I feel so overwhelmed. So I then push Timmy's nap time a bit, you know, downwards, and then it affects his sleep time later at night. And I'm like, oh my god, I shouldn't have done that. And you know, it's just so overwhelming. So just so you know, in case you're thinking about it, say having your children together, yes, you can do it. And if you are going to be getting help, oh yes, fantastic. But if you're not going to be getting help, be ready for it, as in be ready for it. Like the way it works is super draining. Some days I just feel totally drained, like literally, I'm not exaggerating in any way. I feel drained, like you just want to scream out loud, really. So please and please and please think about it before you go into it. I'm so glad, because you know, looking into it or looking back now, I'm so, you know, relieved, because Timmy is now getting his words out to the glory of God. Gabriel is now doing all she needs to do to the glory of God. You know, it's beginning to pedal down a bit. But imagine those days, if you get what I mean. It's just not been easy, and it's not to mean that I'm all eased off now, but then it just gets better by the day. So would I do it again? Like if I was to choose to have 2 children on that too, like even mine is even still better. Excuse me. I've heard of people that got pregnant with their second when their first was 3 months. So the age gap is just a year. A year? Is that up to a year? Like exactly a year, you know, age gap. Mine is a year and 6 months, and on that way. So some people still say yours is better, and I'm like, well, I don't know how those ones coped, but this one is not better, please. So to the question of will I do it again, let me just answer it. If I will get help, yes, I'll do it over and over again. Like say having children, say my next life, having children next. I'm sure you can hear my husband there. So having my children together, yes, in my next life, if I'll get help, yes. But if not, I think I'll want to think over and over and over again about doing it again. To be honest, it wasn't easy for me, no. And when you say it, you know, it is only you that can, you know, explain it. It is just so subjective. So let me know your thoughts about 2 kids on the 2. Would you do it? Would you not do it? What advice have you got for people thinking about it? All right, then, till I see you next in my video, I will be showing Timmy's birthday vlog. I will be dropping it today as well. I'm ever so sorry about the noise at the background again. So this noise happens when Timmy and Gabriel are awake at the same time and I'm trying to do a video. So oftentimes this is what happens, and sometimes I wake up very early to get the videos done, or I do it in between their naps, and it gets so frustrating for me at times because I don't get to nap. So this has been my life. I really want to appreciate every of my friend, every of my subscriber, every of my supporter that has been sharing those nice words to me, and that I think have been impacting as well. I would like to believe, you know. Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for believing in me. Thank you so much for pushing me to do better. Till I see you again in my next video. Take care. I'll talk to you later. Bye.